December, 1968. Night settles over the Ho Chi Minh Trail like a heavy curtain. Tran Duc Minh tilts his flashlight toward the clipboard resting on his knee. Bandages. Morphine. Rifle rounds. Bags of rice sealed in waxed cloth. A routine shipment from the Mujia Pass into southern Laos. Minh has driven this route more times than he can remember. 60. More. Enough that the jungle curves feel familiar, like lines on his palm. Everyone knows the rule. The Americans rule the sky by day. The darkness belongs to Hanoi. 17 GAZ, 63 trucks wait along Route 23, engines idling low, exhaust fading into the trees. Drivers lean against doors, passing cigarettes, laughing quietly. Someone mocks the latest American radio broadcast, warnings about a new aircraft that hunts at night. Psychological warfare. Minh smirks. He's seen American night attackers before. Big, noisy machines that fire at shadows and engine sounds. You hear them long before they're close. Plenty of time to cut engines and disappear under the canopy. A hand signal ripples down the column. Engines rumble awake. 17 pairs of headlights glow dimly through blue filters, barely brighter than fireflies. The convoy begins its slow push south. 15 kilometers per hour. No faster, or the dust betrays them. No slower, or dawn catches them exposed. The jungle presses inward. Triple canopy darkness swallows the road. Minh grips the wheel hard, not from fear, but from the punishment of the trail. Monsoon rains have torn the route apart. Bomb craters from last week gape like open wounds. The truck lurches violently. The suspension howls. Medical crates slam against each other in the cargo bed. He steadies the wheel. Radio static murmurs. The lead truck reports clear skies. Someone jokes that American pilots are probably asleep. Laughter crackles across the channel. Minh joins in, adds a line about jets too scared to hunt without sunlight. More laughter. Then, nothing. Not silence. Absence. Minh notices it before he understands it. The background chatter vanishes mid-thought. He taps the radio. Still powered. Still tuned. No voices. He counts in his head. 5 seconds. 10. 15. The night feels different now. The night doesn't announce the attack. It simply stops behaving like a night. A strained voice cuts through the radio. The lead driver, his tone wrong now, brittle. Do you hear that? Pham Quang Hui kills the engine instantly. Silence rolls in, thick and deliberate. He listens. The jungle always speaks at night, insects whining, distant monkeys, leaves breathing in the dark. Hui hears all of it. Every familiar sound is present. Nothing else. He presses the transmit button. Hear what? I don't know. Just, something. The transmission ends. Not with static. Not with distortion. It vanishes. Hui's gut tightens. His hand moves to restart the engine. The sky answers first. No roar. No warning. Just light. Blinding white lines slam downward from nowhere, as if lightning has been frozen and sharpened. The lead truck doesn't explode. It ceases to exist. Steel tears apart mid-air. The fuel ignites a heartbeat later, a fireball punching up through the canopy. Hui's windshield turns orange. The light shifts. Second truck. Third. Each one erased by an impossible, continuous storm. Hui screams into the radio, not words, just raw sound. His hands refuse to obey him. His mind can't explain what his eyes are seeing. They must be bullets. What else could fall like this? But they strike too fast to count. Hundreds every second. Thousands. A solid river of molten metal pouring from the sky. Hui throws his door open and dives into the ditch. Mud. Water. Roots tearing at his arms as he crawls blind, face down, refusing to look back. Behind him, his truck ignites. Ammunition begins to cook off, sharp cracks beneath a deeper, heavier roar. Something huge is circling above. Something patient. Hui presses his face into the mud, hands over his head, whispering prayers to anything listening. On the night of December 21, 1968, 43 trucks cross into Laos. By morning, none return intact. Hui doesn't remember reaching the rally point. He remembers the taste of dirt in his mouth. The smell of burning rubber. The way the ringing in his ears lasted long after the sky stopped screaming. At sunrise, 18 other drivers stagger out of the jungle. From 43 trucks, 19 survivors. No wounded. You escaped, or you didn't. The convoy commander sits on a fallen log, staring through the world. His left arm is burned, flash burns from heat, not flame. He doesn't treat it. Someone asks what happened. He can't answer. None of them can. 3 days later, Hui stands in a briefing room in Vinh. Maps blanket the walls. The trail traced in red. American air bases marked in blue. An intelligence officer points to Route 23. Describe what you saw. Hui opens his mouth. Closes it. Tries again. Fire from the sky. Continuous. Like rain, but metal. How many aircraft? I don't know. You didn't see them? No, sir. The officer's pen pauses. I heard something, Hui adds. Maybe. Like wind. Very far away. Another survivor nods. No engines. No dives. The light just appeared. Streams, the officer asks. Yes. Not explosions. Streams of light. Tracers, maybe. But too many. Too fast. The officer flips through reports. Other convoys. Other routes. The same story repeating itself. Clear nights. No warning. No sound. Entire columns erased. Losses on certain sections of the trail reach 80%. Drivers refuse assignments. Some disappear into the countryside. Hanoi demands answers. Theories flood in. A new American jet with silenced engines, impossible. High-altitude bombers with infrared targeting, unlikely. Secret helicopter gunships, wrong endurance. Orbital weapons, the analyst suggesting it is reassigned the same day. But the survivors keep saying the same thing. Light without a source. Death without warning. Radio Hanoi begins questioning American prisoners of war. None of them admit to flying anything like this. And that is when the fear truly sets in. The American pilots know nothing about night hunting over Laos. The interrogators accept this, or choose to. Belief is easier than the alternative. Lu Van Qua returns to his transport unit. A new truck waits for him. Same model. Same scars welded over old damage. The cargo sheet in his hand might as well be a copy of the one from December. Bandages. Ammunition. Rice. His commander explains the changes. Wider spacing between vehicles. Departures staggered by hours. More anti-aircraft guns dug in along the trail. Qua nods. He does not point out that guns are useless against an enemy that never shows itself. On his first night back, he drives with the window open despite the cold. He listens to everything. Every sound makes his foot hover above the brake. Wind moving through leaves. A branch snapping under its own weight. The low growl of his engine. Each noise becomes the sound, the distant, unnatural wind that comes before annihilation. 3 trucks ahead, a flare is fired. Standard procedure now. Force the hunter to reveal itself. The flare arcs upward, bursts, and floods the jungle in harsh magnesium white. Kwa looks through the windshield, searching the sky. Nothing. Only darkness beyond the flare's dying glow. Then he sees it. Not the aircraft, its absence. Stars vanish behind a moving shape. Vast. Slow. Wrong. No fighter drifts like that. No bomber circles so tightly. The flare gutters out. The streams return. Survivors begin describing something that should not exist. A ghost that fires stars. Emergency meetings are called within Hanoi's 29th Transportation Command. Maps that once showed routes now show wounds, entire stretches of trail inked black. Roads no one will drive on clear nights. Drivers call them killing grounds. Command calls them unacceptable. Senior Colonel Tran Hu Phuc stands before the data wall. December, 131 trucks destroyed. January, 189. February, 247. The curve climbs faster than anyone predicted. Phuc has fought for 15 years. He endured French artillery. American napalm. B-52 carpet strikes. He understands air power. This is something else. His staff presents explanations. Theory 1, modified night bombers. Phuc rejects it immediately. Bombers drop and leave. These attacks persist for 20, sometimes 30 minutes. No bomber carries that volume of ammunition. Theory 2, multiple aircraft operating together. Then why, Phuc asks, do all survivors describe a single sound? A single presence? 18 attacks. 18 identical accounts. One hunter. Theory 3, a new generation of silent jet engines. An engineer from the Polytechnic Institute is brought in. He runs calculations, thrust, heat output, fuel flow. Comrade Colonel, he says carefully, a jet cannot be silent. The physics do not allow it. He hesitates. What they describe violates thermodynamics. Phuc does not dismiss him. He has seen American technology break assumptions before. But this feels larger. More deliberate. Patterns are analyzed. The attacks happen only on clear nights. Never during monsoons. Never through thick cloud. Phuc circles the observation in red. Visual targeting. Optical sensors, perhaps. Infrared, someone suggests. The engineer shakes his head. Infrared exists, yes, but not with this precision. Not in 1969. Yet the evidence refuses to bend. Phuc orders countermeasures built on fragments of understanding. If it hunts by sight, then blind it. Convoys are restricted to overcast nights. Engines receive crude heat shields. Anti-aircraft positions quadruple along exposed routes. Searchlights. Radar stations. Anything that might reveal the ghost before it strikes. February 14th. A convoy moves under Phuc's direct supervision. Cloud cover at 800 meters. A perfect ceiling. 17 trucks depart from the outskirts of Chepon. Phuc watches from a hilltop command post, binoculars cutting through the gray. The radio murmurs. Lead element reporting. Then static. Then one word. Contact. Phuc raises the binoculars. The clouds glow from within, pulses of light, rhythmic and mechanical. The streams are firing through the overcast. Blind. And still hitting. 4 trucks vanish in 15 seconds. The convoy scatters. The attack ends as abruptly as it began. Phuc lowers the binoculars. His hands are shaking. It doesn't need to see them, he whispers. A targeting officer checks the radar logs. Sir, we detected nothing. No aircraft returns. Check again. Sir, the radar shows nothing. Fuchs stares at the burning wrecks below. The Americans have built something that flies too slow for interceptors. Too high for ground fire. And invisible to radar. Whatever it is not bound by the rules they understand. It can strike through cloud cover. It carries more firepower than logic allows. By every known rule of aviation, it should not exist. Yet the trucks continue to burn. Hanoi issues a directive. Recover debris. Study impact patterns. Survivors agree on one detail: the weapon fires from a turning aircraft. It does not pass once and vanish, it orbits. Anything that orbits can be hunted. It must have a weakness. They do not yet know that the answer has already been perfected, far from the jungle, years earlier, in a hangar under the Florida sun. Eglin Air Force Base, 1964. Major Daniel Cross walks slowly around an aging C-47 transport. A leftover from another war. Propellers, rivets, faded paint. Designed to haul cargo, not rewrite air combat. The engineers have cut openings along the left side of the fuselage. 3-7. 62mm miniguns protrude, angled slightly downward. All of them facing left. Cross frowns. Why only one side? A civilian engineer, Martin Hale, smiles as if waiting for the question. Because you're still thinking straight, he says. This doesn't fly straight. He explains. Traditional attack aircraft dive, fire, climb, and escape. Linear motion. Predictable. Vulnerable. This design never dives. The aircraft banks left at a constant angle and maintains altitude, a pylon turn. A perfect circle around the target. Every gun points left. The target stays fixed at the center of the circle. The aircraft never stops firing. Never disengages. It simply revolves. Relentless. Mechanical. Like a steel vulture. Cross absorbs the idea. So the airplane becomes the weapon. Hale nods. The entire airframe is the turret. But the concept faces three impossible problems. First, accuracy. Calculating lead, gravity drop, airspeed, bank angle, altitude, wind drift, in real time, exceeds human capability. Second, vision. Finding targets at night from thousands of feet up is impossible with conventional optics. Third, recoil. Miniguns firing thousands of rounds per minute should tear the aircraft apart. They tackle recoil first. The fuselage is reinforced. Guns are mounted on hydraulic dampeners. Test firing begins over the Gulf of Mexico. The C-47 trembles. The airframe holds. Accuracy comes next. Analog fire control computers are installed, mechanical processors that ingest flight data and compute firing solutions continuously. They adjust gun alignment automatically. The gunner no longer aims. He selects. The breakthrough is vision. Early infrared systems exist, but they are crude. The Air Force contracts Hughes with a specific demand. Detect running truck engines from 3,000 feet, in total darkness. Not merely detect. Differentiate. Hughes delivers. The new sensors don't just see heat, they map it. Engine blocks burn white on phosphor screens. Human bodies appear as dull gray shapes. Trees remain black. Even under canopy, moving metal announces itself. Night stops being concealment. It becomes exposure. The sensors are mounted in the aircraft's nose. Low-light television cameras are added as redundancy. Both feeds route into fire control stations inside the cargo bay. Operators sit in darkness, faces lit green, tracking targets with crosshairs. The computers handle the math. November 1967. The first live combat test. The modified aircraft, now designated AC-130, circles a Viet zone position. The miniguns begin firing. Every fifth round is a tracer. From the ground, it looks like a vertical waterfall of light pouring from a single point in the sky. The men below give it a name. The Dragon. But the Dragon has limits. The miniguns lack reach. Dense jungle degrades sensor clarity. The airframe cannot support heavier weapons. The Air Force studies the footage. They do not see success. They see potential. The conclusion is simple. They need a larger aircraft. Stronger wings. More power. And guns that turn night into annihilation. Better sensors demand a larger host. The Air Force selects the C-130 Hercules. For turboprop engines. A cavernous cargo bay. A combat radius measured in continents. Thus, the AC-130 Spectre is conceived. But mounting cannons inside a transport aircraft solves nothing unless a final impossibility is addressed, striking moving targets at night from thousands of feet above the jungle. Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, Ohio. September 1967. On the ramp sits what looks like a routine cargo plane. It is anything but. The prototype AC-130A carries an armament no aircraft has ever lifted into the air. 420mm Vulcan cannons. 4.7. 62mm miniguns. And at its heart, two 40mm Bofors cannons. Naval anti-aircraft guns from World War II. Now repurposed to fire downward from 3,000 feet. Each shell weighs over 2 pounds. Each barrel cycles at 120 rounds per minute. By every engineering instinct, the aircraft should not fly. Fully loaded, fuel, crew, sensors, and ammunition, the Spectre weighs 155,000 pounds. Engineers recalculate its center of gravity 17 times. The numbers never look right. Yet the aircraft lifts off. Barely. It is slow. Deliberate. Maximum speed just over 300 knots. A MiG-21 could destroy it with ease. But the Spectre does not hunt fighters. It hunts trucks. The true weapon is not the guns. It is the sensor suite. Second-generation Hughes FLIR no longer merely detects heat, it measures change. Operators can tell whether an engine shut down seconds ago or minutes ago by watching thermal decay curves. Tire tracks glow faintly against cooling soil. A halted convoy leaves a ghost on the screen for nearly an hour. Low-light television adds another dimension. Starlight amplification multiplies ambient light tens of thousands of times. Moonlight becomes noon. A cigarette ember becomes a beacon. On clear nights, crews joke they could count bolts on a truck hood from 2 miles up. Both feeds converge in the fire control center, a darkened compartment mid-fuselage. 3 operators sit shoulder to shoulder, faces illuminated by green phosphor displays. They never look outside. Their instruments show more than human vision ever could. The engagement sequence unfolds with mechanical precision. Phase 1, Acquisition. The FLIR operator scans for anomalies. He finds one, a moving heat source, 15 kilometers south. Engine signature confirmed. The low-light operator verifies. 11 trucks. Tight formation. Southbound. Phase 2, Tracking. The Black Crow system activates. Electromagnetic sensors detect ignition noise from unshielded engines. Soviet-built trucks leak interference across the spectrum. Black Crow triangulates each ignition spark to within meters. Lights off or on, it doesn't matter. Moving or stopped, the engines confess. Phase 3, Fire Control. The analog computer ingests everything. Altitude. Airspeed. Bank angle. Wind vectors. Ammunition type. Ballistic coefficients. Every variable recalculated 3 times per second. Gun mounts adjust automatically. The pilot's task is brutally simple: hold a perfect left-hand pylon turn. 30 degrees of bank. Constant altitude. The target remains pinned at the center of the circle. The aircraft does not aim. It orbits. Phase 4, engagement. The fire control officer selects the Bofors. The trigger is squeezed. The cannon answers. The recoil shakes the fuselage. Empty shell casings, each the size of a thermos, slam into collection bins. Tracers arc downward in graceful curves, physics rendered visible. Phase 5, assessment. FLIR shows a thermal spike as fuel ignites. The shape collapses. Heat fades. Destroyed. The system slews to the next target. For minutes later, a convoy no longer exists. The AC-130 does not merely operate in darkness. It redefines it. February 3, 1969. Route 911, Laos. 2,247 hours. An AC-130A banks left at 4,500 feet. Call sign, Spectre 2. The crew has been airborne for over 3 hours, orbiting the Steel Tiger Zone, waiting. Now Black Crow speaks. Technical Sergeant Alan Mercer, electromagnetic sensor operator, watches his scope. Multiple ignitions. Bearing 270. Range 12 kilometers. 11 distinct signatures. The pilot, Major Thomas Reed, eases the Hercules into its turn. Turboprops hum, a steady mechanical chant against the night air. The loadmaster calls out ammunition levels. 40 mm at 80%. 20 mm at 90%. All systems nominal. Mercer refines the solution. The ignitions are moving. Southeast. The Spectre tightens its circle. The guns begin to track. And far below, on a road that believes the night still belongs to it, engines keep running. Speed estimate, 25 km per hour. The voice is calm. Staff Sergeant Ethan Morales brings his FLIR display to life. The screen floods with thermal data. The jungle resolves into a muted gray haze. The road cuts through it like a scar. And there, 11 bright points crawling south. Engine blocks radiating hundreds of degrees. Morales increases magnification. The signatures sharpen. GAZ series trucks. Heavy loads. Even spacing. Military discipline. Target acquired, he says evenly. Convoy, 11 vehicles. Southbound, Route 911. In the cockpit, Major Andrew Keller scans his instruments. Altitude, 4,500 feet. Airspeed, 140 knots. Bank angle, 30 degrees. The AC-130 settles into its orbit. A wide, invisible circle with the convoy nailed to its center. In the fire control station, the computer absorbs the data: truck velocity, wind shear, aircraft motion, ballistic coefficients. Micro-adjustments ripple through the gun mounts. Captain Lucas Reed, fire control officer, selects the lead vehicle. Target Alpha. Range just over 4 kilometers. Firing solution stable. On his display, the crosshairs stop drifting. They lock. Cleared hot, Keller says. Reed squeezes the trigger. The Bofors answers. Inside the aircraft, the sound is overwhelming, a violent, staccato thunder that rattles bones and turns thought into vibration. The airframe shudders. Spent shell casings pour into collection bins like falling tools. Below, tracer arcs descend in perfect geometry. Morales watches the impact. The first shell lands short. The second strikes the engine block. The thermal image flares to white. Fuel detonates. Heat blooms outward, spilling across the road. Alpha destroyed, Morales reports. Reed is already moving. Target Bravo brakes hard, jackknifing sideways. The computer compensates instantly. 5 rounds. The cab dissolves. The cargo bed erupts as ammunition cooks off. Secondary explosions race down the column. The formation collapses. Drivers scatter into the jungle. It changes nothing. Morales tracks them easily. Engines burn through foliage like lanterns. Trees offer no shelter from infrared. One by one, he paints targets. Reed fires with metronomic precision. 6 minutes into the engagement, 10 trucks burn. The last sits dark, engine killed, driver gone. Morales zooms in. The cab door hangs open. A faint heat trail leads into the trees. Footprints, still warm. Keller holds the orbit, checking fuel. 12 minutes of loiter time remain. Below, the jungle glows. Smoke rises in thermal columns. The road has become a line of wreckage. The guns fall silent. The work is done. The data reaches Saigon by courier. After-action reports. Sortie logs. Confirmed kills. An intelligence analyst spreads the paperwork across his desk, then the floor. Timeframe, late 1968 through early 1969. 4 gunships rotating through the trail network. Confirmed vehicle losses exceed 2,000. Probable kills approach 1,000. Total removals from the supply chain climb far higher. He checks the math twice. 5 months. 4 aircraft. Thousands of trucks erased. Each carrying food, ammunition, medicine. Entire divisions starved before ever reaching the front. Ground reconnaissance confirms what the numbers suggest. Route 23 lies abandoned. Burned out hulks stand every 100 meters. Some were dragged into the trees. Most were not. Skeletons of steel accumulate, rusting into the earth. Quartermasters adapt. Convoys shrink. 5 trucks instead of 20. Spacing stretches to hundreds of meters. Departure times scatter unpredictably across the night. None of it works. Because the Spectre does not hunt formations. It hunts heat. And heat cannot hide. By the spring of 1969, the Ho Chi Minh Trail still exists on maps. But the night no longer belongs to Hanoi. The darkness has learned a new rule. It is no longer a shield. It is a spotlight. And somewhere above, something slow and patient continues to circle. Don't forget to like and subscribe.